Not necessarily that every time you have to fall, every time you have to fall in a ditch, or every time you have to go through a fire, or every time you have to cross Pacific Ocean. Not necessarily. Striving every day, okay, making every day and fulfilling, making a fulfilling life out of every day is itself a challenge. But how do you do that with an open heart, with a smile? How do you make others' life better with your life? I think that's one of the most important way of self-development.
Hi everyone, the guest for this podcast is Uma Chaudhary. Let me tell you a little bit about her before we start with the podcast. Actually, she has been a cancer patient. She has fought cancer. She is still fighting cancer, and alongside, she was doing Ph.D, which she had to drop, and she is currently doing a full-time job. And alongside that, she's also married and handling her own family. I am mind blown by the kind of strength she has, by the kind of strong attitude she has kept, and I hope you will get to learn a lot from this video. I'm really excited that you are here, and uh, I was totally astonished after reading about you, that how you have survived cancer and how you are still running a family, doing a job at the same time of even you are fighting that disease. So I found really interesting, really amazing, mind blowing. So I would like to hear from you that how has it been?
Okay, fine. So, thank you for inviting me, and it gives me a lot of pleasure to come here on your channel and have a conversation. I really like the background that you have put. Uh, it's so similar and so familiar to me. Okay, so having said that, its the journey has been quite tough, no doubt. Okay, but in my experience, cancer is a life changing disease. Okay, so I was having a set of a kind of life earlier. Okay, before it had hit me sometime around May 2020. And like now, when we talk about COVID, that this is a new normal, same thing happens to anybody who has got inflicted by this disease. Okay, life is never the same what it was earlier. However, there are a lot of things that this disease teaches you. Okay, so in that way, I feel well. Had this not happened to me, I would have been extremely grateful. But even then, I'm grateful that I'm living. I could survive it. Okay, I have taken almost close to 23 rounds of chemotherapies. Yeah, and a very severe operation. So mine was a ovarian cancer. So when it got detected, it was almost starting to be metastasis. Okay, so almost close to the third stage is when it got diagnosed, and that time it was complete lockdown. So, so there was no clue, neither did I have any symptoms. Okay, it was, I think it was God's grace that I happened to visit my physician, and that's how the process started. Some examination were asked to conduct for some other reason, and it ended up after 10 days with a, with a third stage cancer. Okay, but immediately it started, and I had a very good physician. Okay, so my oncologists were extremely good. I consider them my gods. I have not seen God, but they are like God to me, the way they have helped me go through this journey. And of course, last but not the least, it's my husband who has been like a rock, okay, throughout this entire journey. So these three, four people had helped me to traverse this journey. And after coming out of it, I feel there is lots of um, positivity that I am left with. Okay. I feel it's a life changing disease to me. And I'm happy that the new person that I have found in myself now is far more better than what it was earlier. Okay. So this is has been. So if you want to know anything particular, probably I can touch upon that.
Yeah, I can definitely. I cannot imagine what you have been through. Must have been really hard. It requires a very strong mindset. And I have been through some situations that actually made me realize that you need some hardships to actually change your mindset, to put you on the way that is meant for you, or that will to give you that growth mindset that you never had. And your gratitude is amazing. I think everybody needs that gratitude. Everybody needs to learn to be happy in the moment, not living in
Yeah.
the past, not living in the future. In the moment, that whatever they have, they are enjoying the journey. Most of us actually stop enjoying the journey, yearning for the future, that after I get this,
Yeah.
then I might be happy.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And when we come from a management background, we are, how should I put it? We are actually coached, we are nurtured in that way that, you should be having a goal. There are certain things for you to accomplish. After this,
Right.
this. So you have a stack of, in front of yourself. That's okay. Now I have done this. Now next is this. Then is this. And being unmindful of everything around you, we are just running. And that was exactly what I was doing. So as you have told you that, I was pursuing my PhD with IIM Rohtak, which was at that time. Now it has changed its name. It's called part-time PhD, perhaps. It was
Okay.
earlier executive FPM, EFPM.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
that is what it was called in 2019. So I am a 2019-23 batch. Okay,
Okay.
so and it was my dream that, and if I do PhD, I have to do it from one of the IIMs, of course, or the IITs. So after having a career of say 13 years, that time it was 11, 13 years, and with the family, I still took a stride. I knew it would be very difficult for me because my child at that point in time, she was barely 4.5, 5. Okay. And uh, being alone, and my husband is with a government concern, so he moves around from one place to other. So it's mostly me and my child. I have to manage the home and everything by myself. Even then, I took that stride. Okay, just to I felt that okay, that's one dream which I have not accomplished yet. Let me do this now. If not now, perhaps later I won't get a chance. But that's a I don't think that was a very right thought process of myself. Okay. And I took a lot of strain. So this entire the process of a PhD is a very grueling process. Okay. And if you are doing with such prestigious institutes, they won't leave you just like that. So there were a lot of schedule that I had to meet. My classes were there with the pullings from work also, because I'm having a full time job to attend alongside my PhD, along with that family. But then when this happened, it was like a bolt from a blue, and everything crashed at one moment. I could see all my dreams being strewn in front of me. So that point in time, it felt that okay, now my survival is important, whether I'm going to survive this or not. Because my doctors were saying that okay, see, we can only hope for the best. The kind of the disease it has spread in you, we can't say much. Let's hope and pray that the chemotherapy works on you. And after the chemotherapies, you will undergo a surgery. Hope the surgery goes fine. Post which again 3 rounds of chemo, again 17 rounds of advanced chemo would be given. So after this entire rigmarole, if you are, we hope that you come out of this journey. Okay, so that time, what PhD, which goal would you? So every goal which was so close to my heart actually started distancing from me. And I had stopped thinking about them. Most important for me at that point in time was to survive for
Survival.
my family, because it was that rudimentary, that basic, and that important. So we often say, the far fetched and dreams and all that. But times when you are struck with luck so hard, we understand the importance of very basic things. And that was my first and foremost learning out of this entire thing, that okay, it's not that I still don't have dreams. I have dreams, but I'm not running after them the way I was doing so, before this. I feel if it has to happen, it will happen. Everything has its own time. So do whatever you are doing, whatever is there in your hands now, accomplish that, do that, give your best to that at that point in time. Because when I was jostling with this disease, it was very important for me to take that kind of therapy with a, because every chemotherapy has a lot of side
Side
effects.
effects. Right.
For you to go through those side effects, come out of it, get prepared, and then be prepared for the next therapy, so you know that you have to cross 23 such kind of therapies, which are lined up in front of you, and each one has its own
Side effects.
way of
Yeah.
treatment, as in a way of behavior. Okay, once you will have something, the next time you'll have some other things. So there are a lot of other challenges which are coming in front of you. But the point was for me to be focused at that point in time and take it what was coming to my way peacefully, without raising any hue and cry, because there is no point in making any hue and cry. Already there was corona outside. So no point, that who would take care. So in my case, what happened was, since we are from a nuclear family, I belong to West Bengal. So my parents, family were there. They couldn't come here. It was mostly my husband, myself, my daughter, and my mother-in-law. So these four, and my help, of course, I had a full-time help at that point in time. So she had been very benevolent, and she had come over. Even during Corona, she had supported me big time. So all these people had actually, it helped me to understand that perhaps this is more important for me right now, to focus on my health, to focus on my child, to focus on my surroundings. And then gradually, once I came out of it, once I started gaining little bit of strength, and I started my own physical regime, automatically things started looking better. I got a go ahead from my physicians that now you can lead a normal life. Whatever you are doing prior, you can resume work. So I resumed work in last year, 2021 October, and thankfully it was work from home, so it became easier for me, definitely.
Right.
So initially I was very nervous that, whether I would be able to even work for, sit in front of the computer or remember anything, because the chemotherapies was so grueling. I thought probably I'll forget everything, whatever I was doing. But then that again itself was a you know, an exercise for me to sit long, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. And gradually I started increasing my time span. So now I'm working for 8 hours. Okay, I'm also co partnering with another friend of mine on his startup. I'm also pursuing SPHRI certification course. So little by little, I'm trying to, bring in work within my span.
That is totally amazingly inspiring. Uh, I cannot even imagine after going through such a time, still having such a strong spirit to pursue whatever you want. You are still, you started working, you are still in corporate, you are doing whatever for your career growth and personal development. Really, really amazing. On that note, I want to ask you that uh, do you think uh, these problems are necessary for personal development, or if a person actually has the willingness to do that personal development, then he can do it without having to go through hardships of life, not necessarily just the top notch level, but
Right,
still.
right.
Yeah.
Right, I got your point.
Yeah.
See, I believe all of us have got our own struggles. It's not necessary that everybody has to go through, this route, the route I had gone through.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, some or the other hardships actually make us realize some things. So how can a person actually uh, realize those things without having to go through a bad phase or
Yeah,
something?
yeah, yeah. See, the first thing which all of us, ask, why me?
Yeah.
If it is less marks, if it is bunk in examinations, if it is not the chosen job, okay, the first thing that strikes is, why me? Okay,
Right.
so when the cancer or when this treatment or when this news came to me, it's not that this question didn't strike me, that of all things I had to go through this, why me? But one thing which has helped me, I believe, is because I was quite attuned mentally, mm, to to take a step during tough times. Not immediately did I start asking myself, why me? Because every self-help book which you open, it will start talking you on this line, because that's a normal human phenomena, to be surprised or to not to be ready for setbacks rather. Okay, but life cannot be like this, right? It is not like that. It's a journey, and journey will have halts. So those halts are necessary for you to refuel yourself. That refueling is needed. You just can't run throughout your life. You need certain halts for yourself to refuel mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, so that you can have a better run than the previous run. And I believe that is most important. And that's how we should actually take our setbacks. Instead of crying upon it, or instead of losing hope, annihilation, self annihilation, self destruction, I think that's the worst thing that we can do to ourselves. Life, after a lot of lives, we have got this life. Okay, we just can't spend it, or take it in this way. Rather, take setbacks as a pause, as a brief pause to refuel yourself. See, why have this was planned for myself? What was I doing? What are the things that I have left? I was completely unaware of. And now that I am into this, what comes into my cognition? What comes into my awareness? And with that awareness, what do you do? So I think that is very important for us to grow, for us to take a major leap ahead. For the days
Right.
to come, that period of halt. So we should not never take it as that life ends here. No, life doesn't end. It will end when it has to end. You don't have to do anything about it. You wouldn't know the time when you would go. Okay, so it's no point in uh, thinking that my life is going to end, as in that was the message which I had got from my physicians, right? But my oncologist was so positive that he told me, hey, let's give it a try. So eventually, the first time when this news was broke to me, he broke this news to me, he confirmed it. So obviously, I had tears in my eyes. But then he said that, well, why are you doing this? I still have hope. And then I felt that, yeah, well, it's not that just the moment my life is coming to an end. I still have days, years, moments ahead. So why not I look into that aspect of life and then do things rather than thinking just that it's hopeless, why this has happened to me, why others are ahead of me, why only I have gone through this piece or whatever it may be. So that's my
Right,
perspective.
right, right. If we do it in the right way, we can come out of that bad situation even stronger. So
Yes,
that has
yes,
to be
because
realized.
yeah, because there is a learning in every situation that comes to our life.
Right.
Every day has a learning, some learnings for us, right?
Some tough realizations
Right,
that we did not look for earlier.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So next, I would like to ask you that what do you think is the role of other people in a person's development, and can a person develop on his own with his own mindset, even if the people around are not complementing it?
Right, very good question. So, have you heard this term neuro linguistic programming?
I have just heard it.
Okay. So, I'm sure most of your friends who are from the HR background would be knowing about it. So, NLP, that's what it is broadly or most commonly known as, prepares you with this particular question that you have asked. Okay, that
Okay.
can others help you for your own self development. So there is something, a concept, because I myself was a NLP business practitioner. Okay, I did this program way back in 2010, 2013. So for 2 years, I took 3 rounds of this particular certification, and once which starts with basic, then practitioner, then master practitioner. So it's a very nice program actually. So I have been into, I had a knack, I would say. The time when I decided to move into management and take up HR, I started preparing myself, towards these things, because I felt that of all the areas in HR, T&D, self-development, organization development, organizational science, these are certain aspects, cognitive psychology, these are far more interesting to me. Okay. And perhaps that what helped me to go through this crisis of my life. Okay. Now coming back to your question. So there is something called excellence. Okay. How do you excel in your life? And there is a concept in NLP which is called modeling. We are every time modeling somebody or the other, because as we say, genetically, when we are coming, if you read as a homo sapien, we have this tendency to copy others.
Yeah, we
somebody
do.
you would be Somebody you would be inspired by. Okay.
Right.
Say for example, any small kid, like let me take my daughter's example. She right now recently has started badminton coaching. Okay, watching Saina Nehwal, the Saina movie, she felt that she would love to she would love to acquire this sport. And the one important change which I have found in her is she started putting lot many clips on her hair. You must have seen Saina, how many
Right.
clips she puts on her hair,
Exactly. Yeah.
right? So that's a pattern. All of us, you would do it consciously, you would do it unconsciously, but we keep modeling. We keep modeling. So it is very essential for everybody, for self development, to have models in our lives. And it's not that for models you have to go out and look searching with a searching glass, which coaching should I which coach should I refer to? No, no, you can model anybody. You can model the behavior, the characteristics, the, if you are good in, if you have a knack towards cooking, you can start modeling your mom in kitchen, or the person who cooks in your house, you can start modeling that person. So modeling can happen at any stage, at any time, consciously and unconsciously. So definitely others, because we are, as a human being, we adapt lot of things from the environment. Like, I'm sure when you have done your MBA, or you're doing your MBA, you have one course on OB and HR, right? So
Yes.
therein, the first chapter is personality. And in personality, there are two aspects, coming from genetics and coming from environment. So, as a human behavior, we do a lot of learnings or takeaways from our environment. And in the environment itself, there are a lot of scope for you to take the cues from. So, definitely, people has a very big role to play in your own self development. But having said that, unless and until I want that self development myself, it will not hit me. It will come to me, but it will not go inside.
Right.
Am I making sense?
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Four
Mm,
people studying in a college, they are living together in a hostel. Okay. At the end of their semester, if they have not copied, four will get different kind of marks. Right? Because what one person has taken from the class cannot be imitated by the other person. So the gateway, of course, there are models across my arena, across my environment, but that gateway is with me, right? I have to open the gates. Only then my consciousness or my awareness will spot that excellence. Suppose you are looking at somebody with certain characteristics. That same person may influence some another person with some other characteristics, right? Like, say, for example, Sanjeev Kapoor. Okay, many may like Sanjeev Kapoor, his cooking style or his cooking, the kind of recipes that he makes. Many may like the way he speaks, the way he brings in humor, the way he brings a smile. He's an absolute example of, public speaking. So if somebody is keen to learn public speaking, Sanjeev Kapoor is coming and hosting a cooking show. But what you are taking from Sanjeev Kapoor depends on your neural gateway. So if you are not opening that neural gateway, it is going to fall flat. He will bring episodes after episodes, but still it will not strike you. So coming to the latter part of your question, that definitely social influence, social networking has an influence. But unless and until you want that person, you want to learn from that person, unless and until you are opening the neural gateways, it is not going to strike you.
totally, totally makes sense. It is, yeah, it is clear to me. Uh, Coming on even a deeper level now, uh, so can I say that we are made of experiences? So all these things, what we are as an individual, we are made of different parts of other people, what we have learned, what experiences we have had. So that makes us an individual. So do we have anything on our own?
Yeah, definitely. You are what you are. You have got those those cues. So today, if I am what I am, perhaps I have seen many people coming out various kinds of hardships. Okay. And I have seen how those people have thrived, how they have behaved in those hardships. And taking cues from them, it's not that that time I was making a notes that, okay, in 2020, I will be struck with cancer. That time I will need this. No, 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 no. That was not the case. I had the internal mental, I would say, ability to spot that. Unless and until I would have spot that, I wouldn't have learned that. So that spotting of how this individual is behaving at that point in time, how he or she is managing the crisis at that point in time, what are the kind of behavioral, specimen that this person is bringing into the plate. Okay, what kind of ingenuity he or she is bringing in, what kind of creativity he or she is bringing in within the limited resources that he or she has. So that spotting is internal, right? That is something which you have, and that is completely your own. All of us are, suppose a group of bunch of children or bunch of students are walking across the road. Do you think all of them are going to spot the same thing at the same time?
No. Everybody has their own perception.
Yeah, so they have their own likings, they have their own choices.
Yeah.
So how are you building those choices is a long history. So there is lot of theories in it. How has been your childhood? How have been you groomed? Where which environments have you been part of? What have you learned in those environments? Okay, so somebody who is completely, have not seen much of the world, has been a homegrown child, has not been to hostel. Once after a long time, if he or she is coming and staying in a hostel, you would see that person behave in one particular manner. And another girl who has from childhood maybe has been raised in a hostel. I'm just giving you an example. And has a chance to meet multiple people, has a chance to been into multiple situations, very varied situations. So that behavior of this child B versus child A would be different. That mental makeup would also be different, because a lot of things are taking a role there. Genetics will take a role at till an extent. After that, it's, of course, it's my view. That's how I have perceived my understanding of OB. I feel environment has a far greater role to play in making up, in bringing up an individual, okay, rather than genetics. And I feel that's more because the more I am exposed to many environments, the more I have the opportunity or chances to learn. And that's how I will pick up. It's not necessary that things are need to happen to me, but if I see something in front of me, that's also a kind of a learning.
Right. I really like how in depth you are answering the questions. That is really amazing. So, lastly, uh, uh, any advice you'd like to give, like for people like me who are actually doing study, who are in the, who are making their careers, who are in the not yet done with the proper direction of their careers? So, how do they perceive personal development, and what can they do if they really want to develop themselves, like emotionally, and even have that growth mindset of actually doing something and getting something accomplished?
Okay, okay. So, in my opinion, first and foremost is reading. Okay, reading a lot of books, lot of non-fiction. I am a follower of non-fiction side. It's not that I don't read fiction, but I have a very choosy list of fiction. Okay,
Yes.
non-fiction is something that I want to read anything and everything that comes to my way. Okay.
Same
So
here.
one
Same
way,
here.
so one way you will be, the first book that had hit me very hard was Man's Search for Meaning. I don't know if you have read that book
I've heard
by
about it.
Viktor Frankl. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Viktor Frankl. Okay, so a great book. If you catch hold of that book, very, it's not much costly also, barely $100.
yeah.
Okay, so these are some of the books you should start reading, because not how should I put it? I feel there's a lot of chance for us to learn from others' lives. Okay, how Viktor Frankl, he was a psychologist. Okay, so he had been in that Nazi camp, how he was on the verge of death, and he felt that now I would probably die, but then he had this extreme desire to come out of this entire process and then write about it. And that's how, of the many people who were in that concentration camp, barely one or two had survived, and one of them was he, Viktor Frankl. So these are some of the stories. So these are not out of imagination. It has happened. That person has gone through so much of pain, so much of struggle, and how he found a route. So all of us have that conscience. Okay, we know what to do. So human body is a one of the bestest creation, I would say. No other creation is left. No individual can create anything spectacular, because it is already done. There is nothing more to achieve. Okay, that doesn't mean that there are a lot of technocrats, who are coming up with lot of innovation, but what a human body is mind blowing. Okay, so you yourself is a powerhouse. You should, I feel all of us should think it in that way, that I came onto this earth with everything. There is nothing that I do not have which I need for survival. It's just that it has to come out. It's there. It's innate. It's innate. It's not coming to the surface. You have to bring that up to the surface. And to bring that up to the surface, not necessarily that every time you have to fall, every time you have to fall in a ditch, or every time you have to go through a fire, or every time you have to cross Pacific Ocean. Not necessarily. Striving every day, okay, making every day, and fulfilling, making a fulfilling life out of every day is itself a challenge. But how do you do that with an open heart, with a smile? How do you make others' life better with your life? I think that's one of the most important way of self-development. You learn more when somebody comes and hugs you, or a small child is very happy, loves your company. Those are some of the external cues which makes you feel that probably my you have not done anything, but you have seen, right? You must have seen that some person comes up, and then your host of child will come and cuddle that person, because they are so much, they don't have those inhibitions. If I hug him or her, I'll get a chocolate. It's not nothing, no give and take. It's just the kind of persona that person has built around him or her. That is what attracts. So rather than thinking that I am developing my personality, I would say try to let the best of you come out. I think that's what the key to for personality development. You need not have to go through a cash course or any um, kind of a certification for personal development. Best key thing that you have is make the best of you come out. When you are in a situation, how can you give? The more you give without thinking how much will I get back, that is, what it is. When that's the best of you, that is what I mean by best of you. Not, thinking that if I am good here, probably I'll get something out of the other person. No, that's not the best of you. My best of you meaning that when I'm not thinking of what I'm going to get from him or her. My best of you is, whatever I have in me, I am trying to give my best to that person, to that individual, to that situation, to that organization, not caring what I will receive. I will definitely receive whatever is required for me. I will definitely get, so don't have to be bothered about it. There is somebody to take care of me. But through me, if I can do some good to others, I think that's the best part of your personality. And once you start doing that, people will start noticing you.
Many
That's for
people,
sure.
yeah, many people might not be able to understand the depth of that thing, because everybody keeps on saying that human interactions matter a lot, and how much you help others means the thing.
Yeah,
And yes, the way I see it, yes, it is actually true, because uh, the way we humans are, we are here to help each other. We are, how much you earn, how much money you have won't matter as much when you are helping others. And even when you are giving others without having in mind that what you are getting back, I believe that is really an amazing thing to have. And that also provides you peace of mind, because if you are always looking to get something back, you are not peaceful from your mind. You are,
yeah, absolutely,
you cannot be
absolutely.
happy at that time. Yeah.
Yeah, at least at the end of the day, when you will go and you will call a day off, you will say to yourself that I have nothing left to give. I have nothing left to give. I have given my everything to this particular situation, crisis, individual, whatsoever it may be, you know, to this cosmos, to this universe. And now you will get a rest sleep, refuel yourself. The very next day, you will be more apprising to see, what comes out. And believe you me, the more you start doing this, something magical happens, and you start getting ideas of how can I be a better person. You will start getting, something will start flowing. There is a kind of science which works inside us, wherein the more you give, the more you start taking, think about others good before yours. The more you start thinking that am I enough useful for this individual, for this situation, for this organization, for this institution? What can I give? I am here. See, one thing I think all of us should keep in mind: whichever situation you are in, whether you like it or you not like it, you are there because you have something to offer and you have something to learn. You will not be in that situation for long. That situation will, time will pass, and you will move from that situation to another situation.
Another
Whether it is
situation.
good or bad, that is relative. Okay, but wherever you are, there is something for you to offer. That's why you are there. Otherwise somebody else would have been there. Today you are in IIM Rohtak. Definitely you have worked hard, but there were many other examiners who had worked equally hard as you. But I still feel there is some divine connection because of which you have been selected and not the other person whom you have replaced. It's not that that person, because he or she must have got something else to pursue. So you are here because you have something to offer there, and you have something to learn from that situation because of which you are there. Whether you like it or not like it, it's better that you start liking it and start enjoying it, because then you will start moving from that situation to a better situation.
Right. Right. These were some amazing thoughts. And on an ending note, lastly, what would you like to say? Any two sentences or three sentences you would like to tell someone who is going through a hard time and watching this?
Okay. So, first and foremost, my warm wishes to that person that the time, this time shall pass. Okay. So, I come back to NLP, time and again because it has taught me certain cardinal truths. One of them is beliefs. Beliefs. Believing something onto something very hard. That this time, if you are finding this time hard for yourself, just tell yourself that this time shall pass and take it on your stride with a smile. Don't be too harsh on it. Don't just wait, harden yourself for this time to pass, because the more hard you will become, the more tough it will be for you to bear. Rather, soften yourself, accept it. Acceptance is the most important, I believe, is the key, to let that time pass. So accept it. I also have accepted it that, okay, I had this disease. I don't know whether it may reappear, not reappear. I don't boggle such thoughts. Don't let those thoughts enter my mind and, spoil my breath. I I want to live in this way, that this is what I have got, and I want to make the best use of my second stint of life. Whatever good that I can do and help others to move ahead, I shall do. I am doing as well. And I believe that, you know, please don't get demotivated with the time that you are currently passing through. Rather, look at in this way that this time is not here to stay, but how can you make best use of this time? Okay, so if you can learn something out of it, if you have something to offer at this time, do it at your utmost capability.
Amazing. Amazing. That was really good. Thank you so much for being here. It was a
Thank you very
pleasure.
much.
And we'll be definitely recording another video on the HR domain.
Sure, anytime. And I really thank you a lot. You're doing an amazing job in terms of your studies, assignments. There are so many things which you have. Still, you are doing this. I'm sure this is something you are doing really good for people to know, for people to learn. Before even stepping onto IIM Rohtak, they get to know a lot of the inside stories of what is consulting. I have gone through some of your videos. I have seen you have made something on consulting, which was very nice. So I think youngsters who are planning to take up MBA or who are still thinking of some career path, you should follow Manpreet's video, his podcasts, very informative, which would help somebody to take a call and take a decision at one point in time. So I'm really thankful that you invited me and hope I did justice to your time.
Ma'am, you did justice to, I did justice to your time. That's what I should say. Yeah,
Thank
so
you very much.
actually, your journey is really inspiring. You are very strong, and thank you for all the best wishes. I hope these podcasts help at least a few people. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's my intention too. And we shall be connected.